Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Restorative Reading and Writing for Wellness podcast. I'm Stephanie Affinito, your host, and I'm starting today's episode with a story. Now, in order to tell the story, we have to go back about 22 years ago. At that time, I had just found out that I was pregnant with my first son. And I had just found out about a week and a half after I had just taken a new position. So I was shifting from being an elementary literacy specialist in one building to being a literacy coordinator who was working with multiple literacy coaches across multiple districts. It was a big deal. It was a big shift. And I was so worried to tell her. I just convinced them in the interview that I was the best person for the job and then had to step away from the job for a little while. I'll never forget that when I finally worked up the nerve to tell her, she was so wonderful and she was so gracious. And she told me a story that said I should never feel bad or worried about talking to someone in my work life about a personal shift because of the glass balls. Now, maybe you've heard the story, and I truly have no idea where it actually originated. I just know that I heard it from the first time from my boss in upstate New York, who said that we are always juggling, right? As we get older, we are juggling work, we are juggling family, we are juggling our personal interests, we are juggling our health, we are juggling so many things. And the trick is to remember which things we are juggling are the glass balls or the rubber balls, right? So the rubber balls are all the things that will bounce back no matter what happens. Maybe they don't bounce back exactly the same, but they'll bounce back and we'll be fine. But the glass balls are the things that we're juggling that if we drop those, they break. We can't get back that time. We have to be very clear on which things are the glass balls and the rubber balls. And she looked right at me and said, "This new baby, glass ball. This new job, rubber ball. Everything will be fine." It was such, oh, it was such a relief. It was such a wonderful moment. Really showed me how wonderful of a woman that I was now going to be working for. And I like to think across those 22 years and three kids and a family and all of the craziness that comes with a busy life that I've done a fairly good job not dropping the glass balls. All three of my kids have made it to adulthood and they are healthy and fairly happy. And so everything is good. But I will say that lately I feel like I've been dropping more of the glass balls than I want to. And I don't mean the big ones, right? I don't mean the big glass balls that if I drop those or break relationships or something big. I mean the little glass balls that are connected to them. Like remembering when a friend has a birthday, remembering to send the text, or remembering that I really wanted to go to this particular craft fair this season and completely forgot about it. I am really, really good at not dropping any ball at work. I am regimented, I am notebooked, I am calendared, I am to-do listed, and I don't forget a thing. That is the upholder in me, per Gretchen Rubin's tendency framework. But I will notice, and I will say that lately, I'm not as good as doing that in my personal life. I don't map it out as much. I don't plot it out as much. I don't have as many personal to-do lists. It just didn't feel right before. Like, of course I'm going to remember these things. These are the things that are important to me that I want to do. Well, it turns out that is not always the case. And I feel like lately, even though the kids are older and I am less busy with all of that stuff going on, I feel like I'm dropping the ball on the things that really matter most and the things that I want to matter most in this season. Hence today's episode. I am trying something new for the first time. It might shock you to know that I do not use a paper calendar. I do not use a paper planner for my personal life. Oddly enough, I have two of them sitting right next to me for my professional life and all of my meetings, my podcast episodes, and my interviews, and all of the things. But I do not have a paper notebook for my personal life. I just never thought I needed one. I am a die-hard Google Calendar devotee, and I use Google Keep like nobody's business with to-do sticky notes for every single day of the week. And that has worked until now. I haven't needed a paper planner. It just felt like I was duplicating my efforts, and I didn't think I'd use it. But I listened to a podcast episode recently. It was a mentor that I follow in the podcast space who helps me learn how to grow my own podcast. And she was talking about her paper planner. And she said something that really struck a chord with me. And it was this: she uses both her digital calendar and her paper planner because they are two entirely different things. And I went, wait, what did she just say? I pushed that little, you know, back arrow button to listen to the last 30 seconds again. Of course they're the same. It's a planner, it's a calendar. One is digital, one is paper. And she went on to talk about the differences in her eyes between the two. That a digital calendar was a calendar. It was just where meetings are housed and appointments are housed and things are noted that have to be done. But a paper planner is where she's intentional about her time. It's where she's noting the things that matter to her throughout the week. It's where she's noting the things she wants to get done, where she's going to do them, where she's going to plug in her own personal hobbies and her self-care, and all of those little tiny things that she didn't want to drop the ball on, like sending the greeting card or sending the text or getting the cupcakes ready to send to her kid's school. I'd never heard anybody talk about the differences between a digital calendar and a paper calendar, but I think it was in her language. It's a digital calendar, but it's a paper planner. And that's where the light bulbs went off. And I said, yes, I I think it's time. I think it's time for me to use a paper planner. So that is something that I am starting this week, literally, and having a go at it, which means this is a different kind of episode. I usually come to you in an episode where I have something to say because I have done it and I have lived it, and I feel really good about sharing what I am recommending to you. But that is not the case in this episode. This episode is me saying, I need this kind of help. And I think a notebook, a paper planner, can help me get there. And I need your help. So today, I want to share with you what my plan is. So, for all transparency, it is Wednesday, the week before this podcast will come out. So it is Wednesday, and I am declaring my plans to you and the world of how I am going to start a paper planner and specifically a Sunday planning routine. So it's my hope that by recording this now on Wednesday, my very first Sunday planning session will happen this Sunday to get my feet wet. And then on Tuesday, when this episode releases and you're listening to it as you are now, you can head to wherever you want to head and send me help. Go to Substack and send me help there. Go to social media at Affinito Lit and send me help there. Send me a message, comment on the post. Go to alitlife.com, find the show notes, and comment in that area. Send all the things in all the places because I really want to give this a go, a really good college try, so to speak, and see if it can help me feel better about how my weeks are unfolding. So here is my plan for the very first Sunday that I am going to engage in some Sunday notebook planning. The first thing I did is that I drove myself to Walmart and I went into the clearance section. And by the way, the clearance section is now right next to the Christmas decorations. It is August 29th. It's not August, it's October 29th. And I was vying, my attention was split between the paper planners I was looking at in the clearance section and the thousands of ornaments literally in the aisle next to it. I just couldn't believe it. But anyway, I went to Walmart and I went specifically to the clearance section for a planner because I knew the planner was going to be done soon. There is only November and December left of 2025. So I thought I'd go to the clearance section, spend a couple of bucks on a planner, and see if I liked it. If it stuck in 2025, I would splurge on a really good one in 2026. And I hit the jackpot. I have this beautiful planner. I don't know what size it is. I think it's an A4, maybe it's an A5. And it is a mint green planner. That is actually the name of the company, Mint Green. And the planner itself is this beautiful mint green. It has a gold coil and it has these gilded edges on the corners to keep them protected. There is a tab for every single month. So if I go to the November tab and I open it up, there is a little mantra for the month. For November, it says, make time for what matters. For December, if I look ahead, it says, the future is yours. So I love that little pop of affirmation there to help get me organized and get me inspired as I attempt to start the Sunday planning notebook routine. Now, the other thing I liked is that the very first thing in the monthly section is a one-page goal, important dates, and to-do section. So right away, it's helping to focus my attention on those particular things. Then I have a full month spread, which is what I really love. I love seeing the month at a glance. And then after that, I have weekly pages. I do not have daily pages. Those overwhelm me. I do not block out my days in blocks of time. I have a daily to-do list, and I know I have to get those things done in the day, but I decide the order of them based on how the day is going. So this was the perfect planner for me. A monthly spread, a weekly spread, and a section to just jot some things down about the month that would be helpful, along with, at the end of the month, a notes page. Now, I plan to use this planner in conjunction with my notebook. I have a feeling I'll be going back and forth between the two. I think, but I don't know. Now, I know I'll be using this notebook in conjunction with Google Keep and my Google Calendar. So here's what I'm envisioning for myself. I'm envisioning a Sunday morning routine when the house is quiet and everyone is still sleeping, and I've got my really good cup of coffee. I have my planner, my mechanical pencil, my digital Google Calendar, and my Google Keep sticky notes of things to do. Envision all of that all around me on the table. And I want to give myself an hour to really just sink into the planning for the week ahead. Now, I'll be honest with you, I did a lot of research on the best way to do this. This is the type A personality in me who wants to know the right way to do her weekly planning. And I got overwhelmed. I got sucked into Pinterest. I got sucked in to Instagram. I got sucked into YouTube and these beautiful videos that show these unbelievably artistic, creative weekly spreads. We are talking multiple different colors that are color coded. We're talking washi tapes. We are talking personalized stickers that fit in whatever planner that you have. There were little pockets. There was so much. And I almost decided to stop the Sunday planning before I even got started because as much as I would love to be that kind of person, that is not me. It's not. And so I scrapped it all and I shut the computer and I just sat down in my personal notebook and said, what are the things that really bother me about the week that I get to the end of the week and I'm just mad at or I'm tired from and I want to change it. And so I just made a list of for myself of the things that I might want to think about, plan for, do in that hour. And so here's my plan. I plan with my cup of coffee on Sunday morning to start by asking myself three questions. And these three questions come from Alex Benayan. He has this wonderful 30-day challenge that we have done in my private Get Literate community before that I loved. We've done it 2 Decembers, actually, as we gear up to the new year. Maybe we should bring that back. And here it is. Question one. What energizes me? Whether you do this at the end of every day, like Alex Benayan said, or you do this at the end of the week, which is my plan, it helps to think about the previous section of time and what went well and what you want to keep. So the first question I'm going to ask myself is, What has energized me? What has brought me energy this past week? Question two, what has drained me of energy this past week? And question three, what have I learned about myself or my schedule or my life or the world or in general this week? Combined, those reflections, the answers to those questions, I'm hoping are going to help me look at the coming week and structure it so there are things that energize me and less things that drain me. And all of those epiphanies that I'm learning about myself can make the next week better. I also loved a question posed by someone when I was binge watching everything online that was this: what kind of week do I need this week? Not what kind of week do I want to have, but based on those three questions I just asked myself, what kind of week do I need? Right? Do I need an easier week, a lighter week, a week to feel productive, a week where I have more self-care? I don't know what those questions might be, but that is my plan to start with. Start by reflecting on the previous week and then ask myself, what kind of week do I need? And then look at the kind of week that I have. So that's when I plan to pull out my digital Google Calendar, look at what work looks like, look at the meetings, look at the podcast interviews, look at all the stuff that has been put on the calendar and just sit with it for a bit. And this is where I know things are going to get sticky for me because in the past, putting things on the calendar meant I'm done. I'm planned for the week. I got it. But the planner is saying, no, no, no. Now it's time to be intentional about the rest of the time you have, the way you want your week to feel, and the things that you want to get done. So, as I said, professionally, I'm really good at not dropping the ball. So, I do plan to look at that professional calendar and then jot some things in my weekly calendar. Things like read this book before this podcast interview, or make sure to send that email before X, Y, or Z meeting. Those are things that I will likely put in my Google Keep list because digitally, that has always been where I've kept my professional world. But I realized this week, it was a pretty big revelation for me. I do not plan for my personal world. My personal world is what happens when work is done. And that sucked. Excuse the language. I did not like how that felt, knowing that I did not really plan proactively for my personal life, my hobbies, the things I wanted to do, the things that I want to do with the kids. Excuse me. I was much better at that when they were younger, hence dropping the glass balls. So, ask those three questions, think about what kind of week I need, plot the things I need to really quickly digitally for my professional life, and then lean into my personal life on the printed page. So, I don't know exactly what order I will do this in or exactly if this is even what I need, but I know I want to plot in personal things like, are there birthdays that I need to remember? Are there friends or family members that I wanted to touch base with? Is there something going on that I wanted to attend, like one of the craft fairs that I missed? I want to plot in some of those personal to-dos both on the monthly spread and the weekly spread. I want to plot in what book do I want to read or what book do I have to read for book club. I want to plan for self-care, like do I want to get my toes done? Do I want a pedicure? Do I want to do an artist date to Hobby Lobby and browse the aisles now that I know the Christmas decorations are sure to be out? I want to put all of those things in there. Even little things like, should there be a fire in the fireplace, outdoors tonight? And tell the kids, I don't know. I don't know what it will look like, which is a really weird place to be talking to you about it because that's not normally what I do. But I'm not sure exactly what will go in there. The only thing I am sure about, though, is that meals are going on there. I have gotten away from meal planning, and dinner time comes, and I'm just tired of thinking about food. I am tired of thinking about what to eat. I'm just tired of eating. It has been a chore to think about meals. And so I want to get more intentional about that, along with getting more intentional about the grocery list, because I did a little budget analysis and you do not want to know what this family spends on groceries every week. Whew. So that is one of my hopes that planning will help me be more intentional about that. I have a feeling somewhere in my notebook or my planner, I will probably be doing my favorite brain dump activity. That's where I just dump everything that's on my mind. I get a highlighter and I highlight the things I can control, and then I decide what to do next. And so I'm thinking that somewhere in that Sunday routine, maybe it's a weekly brain dump, and then I can transfer those highlighted items to my weekly plan, whether it's this week or the next week or even the week after that, in order to feel more proactive about the things that are going on. I'm hoping to develop a radar list, which is, what are the things on my radar in the coming weeks, in the coming months that I can just put in the back of my mind, right? Holidays are coming up. That is certainly on my list, but I've got my holiday notebook for that, which, by the way, our live event in my Get Literate Substack community for you to come on and create your own holiday notebook, that's coming up. So if you want to get in on that, make sure you go to substack.alitlife.com or just look me up in the Substack app and you can join for just $5 a month, which will get you our new calendar, that live event, book clubs, and so much more. Now, the last thing I want to do, the thing that I want to end my week with well, actually, it's two things. One is I want to ask myself two things. And I learned this from Kathy Heller, again, who is one of my mentors in the podcast space. And she said, I want you to look at your week and ask yourself this. Number one, is there something that I'm looking forward to? Is there something on there, whether it's work or personal, that you are excited for? There must be something on your calendar that you're looking forward to. And if not, put something on. But here's the second one. Is there something on my calendar that might scare me a little bit? This was an important question because I was learning to podcast and put my voice out there, and she wanted us to do something that felt outside of our comfort zone to grow. So that's something I want to keep asking myself in both my personal and my professional life. Is there something on there that maybe scares me a little bit? Maybe it's going to a new book club that I haven't been to. Maybe it's attending some sort of event. Whatever it is there something that just puts me out of my comfort zone so that I can keep growing? And then the third thing I would like to do, and I know there are some Get Literate members who are really good at this, is I want to choose an affirmation for the week to hold on to. I'm I'm really good lately at using affirmations. I had a list of affirmations, one for every day of October, that revolved around our mystical theme, and I really love glancing at that every day and choosing one. But I think I want to settle into a weekly affirmation routine that I can really hold on to it a bit more and see if having one a little bit longer term can help me live into it a bit more. So that is the plan. The plan is to have an hour on Sunday to reflect on the week, to get intentional about the kind of week I need, to do all sorts of things in my notebook planner to help me get there, like plotting in my to-dos and my meal list and my hobbies and my self-care, seeing the things that are on my radar, getting that brain dump in there, and then making sure my week has something to look forward to, something that will help me grow, and an affirmation to take forward. I need to know what all of you think. I need your help. If you have a Sunday planning routine or just some sort of weekly planning routine, will you let me know what it is? Do you have any recommendations to make my plan better, to make it more effective, to make it more fun? Find me and tell me. As a reminder, I'm at Afanito Lit on social media. You can find me by commenting on this post. You can send me a direct message. You can head into my Substack community, send me a direct message there. Go to the show notes for this episode, leave me a comment. I need to know all the things. Now, coming up, my one word theme for November is nourish. If you're in the Get Literate community, you know this one word theme. And I feel like this one word theme and my paper planner are really going to work together this year to help nourish all aspects of my life, but especially the aspects that I have been dropping the ball on. So I can't wait to hear from you. I am going to practice this for at least a month, and then I'm going to come back and let you know how it goes and hopefully share a routine that really is working for me or not. Maybe weekly planning won't work for me. I am not sure yet, but you can expect a part two in the coming weeks after you have given me all of your advice and I can make the most of it. So, thanks for listening to this episode. It's another example of how our notebook, our paper planner, whatever we want to call it, can show up for us in a restorative way to help us feel better and make life better too. I can't wait to hear from you. Stay tuned for part two. And as always, thanks for listening to another episode. I'll see you in the next one. Hey everyone, welcome to the Restorative Reading and Writing for Wellness podcast. I'm Stephanie, a book-loving, notebook-hoarding reader and writer on a mission to change lives one book and one notebook at a time. On this podcast, we explore the power of books and notebooks as tools for wellness. Reading and writing can help us feel better and make life better too, and I'll show you how I do it. You'll find episodes exploring the research behind reading and writing for wellness, practical strategies to embrace your own restorative reading and writing, and you'll meet authors and special guests who help us take inspired actions in our own daily practices too. So grab a notebook and your TBR list and let's dive into today's episode. Thanks for listening to today's episode of the Restorative Reading and Writing for Wellness podcast. You'll find links to all of the books, resources, and ideas mentioned in the show notes and at alitlife.com. And if you want more, you might like to join my Get Literate Substack community. There, you'll find additional inspiration for your reading and writing life, like bonus podcast episodes, book calendars, monthly book clubs, notebooking inspiration, live events, giveaways, and much more. It's only $5 a month, and you get instant access to all of the previous content, too. You can learn more at getliterate.co. But there's one more thing. If you love what you listened to today, please take a moment to rate and review the podcast, or take a screenshot of the episode and text it to a friend. This helps the podcast grow and builds our bookish and notebookish community too. Thanks for listening, everyone.